Well, hey Divi Nation, welcome to a brand new Divi use case live stream where each week we show you how to add new design and functionality to your Divi websites. And in this tutorial today, we're going to be showing you how you can design a recent posts by category layout with some cool hover effects in Divi. For more information, don't forget to check out the video description, and let's go ahead and jump in and get started. All right, first thing I want to do is just say hi and make sure that I'm coming in loud and clear to you all. If you can, give me a thumbs up. Let us know where you're from in the chat here. All right. Hello, Karashan. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Welcome. All right, yes, we got a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And let's go ahead and dive into this tutorial here once we get everybody saying hello here in the chat. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and check on Facebook here and make sure we're coming in loud and clear over there. All right. All right, so hopefully we'll learn a lot today. This is what you see on the screen here is going to be the final result of what we're going to be building together. And this is basically a section, a layout, if you will, of a recent posts by category. And these are essentially blog modules that are displaying the most recent blog article associated with a certain category. In this case, on the left, as you can see, it has that cool hover effect. When I hover over this article, this is the most recent from the news category. And this is the most recent from the business and most recent from the money category and the coaching category as well. And as you can see, the hover effect will, the color will change to match the category tab here. And we'll show you how to make those as well. These posts are dynamic, meaning they will automatically be pulled from your site dynamically. But this little category tag isn't dynamic, but that's okay because you already know what category you've set the module to. So we'll go into how to do that as well. And as you can see, one of the cool hover effects of this design is that I'm hiding the excerpt initially, but I will show it on hover. As you can see, there's the excerpt that shows up. All right. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started here. We're going to get started with a new page. If you are just joining us, I do want to welcome you to this week's Divi use case live stream. And today I'm going to be showing you how you can add or design a recent post by category layout in Divi. And this will be great for your blog posts or your blog post template or for a blog page. Once this is created, you can really add it to any template or layout or page that you would like. All right, so we'll get started here with a new page. So I'm going to add new and then give my page a title. Just call it recent posts by category. Then I'm going to click to use the Divi Builder. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to click to build from scratch here. And as you can see, it's prompting me already to add my column. I'm going to add a one column layout here. And I think for the first thing I'm going to do is create my blog module. And I'm going to, let's see, let me take a step back here. I think what I'm going to do, I got ahead of myself here. I was going to add the title, but I'm going to wait and do that later. So I'm going to back up here and I'm going to add a 4-column layout first. I apologize. So 4-column layout. Go ahead and add that. And this is where we're going to stick our blog modules here to create our blog, most recent blog posts for each category. So I'm going to add over here in the left column my first blog module. You'll see my blog settings appear. And so my post type here is going to be by default set to posts, which is what I want. I'm going to leave that there, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the post count to 1. And just so you can, let me see. Yes, so post count is set to 1. And then also for the included categories, I'm going to select a specific category. In this one example, I'm just going to set it to news. So this is assuming that you've already included or have blog posts on your website that have been assigned a category to them. If not, this wouldn't work. You have to, because the categories that you have already in WordPress or Divi will show up here in the blog module. So if you don't see any categories, you'll need to go and make some and assign them to posts for this to work. So your post count is 1. The included category is news. So now it's, if I scroll down here, I'm gonna click not to use post excerpts because I don't have any custom excerpts here. And I'm going to limit the, I don't have any post excerpts on my website. And this is kind of just a way to keep everything the same length. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you sometimes have a custom excerpt on your blog post and the display may vary with those that don't on the front end here to this feed of blog articles. So what I'm going to do here, sorry about that, is I'm going to set my excerpt length to 120. And then my offset, let's see, I'll just leave it at 0. The post offset is allows you to kind of skip over 1 or 2 or however many you want to skip over. By default, it will display your most recent. So there's really nothing we need to do there. After that, we do need to hide a few things like elements. So let's go ahead and hide our categories. Since we're already showing or are going to have a category tab there. Hide the categories. Let's go ahead and hide the excerpt as well. But I do want to show it on hover and also on tablet. So to do that, I'm going to change my hover option here and responsive tab. I'm using my responsive tabs and hover tab to set those options here. So for desktop, it's going to be set to no. I don't want to show my excerpt on hover. I'm going to set it to yes. There, it will show up on hover. And then for tablet as well, I want to set it to yes. And by default, it will also show on phone. So we don't have to do that there. And let's go ahead and take out the pagination because we only have one blog post that we're going to show. Actually, you could include the pagination if you'd like, but for just this nice and clean featured layout, I thought it best to not include it. All right, so now we're going to just update the design a bit. So I'm going to jump over to the design tab. Let me get out of my tablet view here. Go back to desktop. All right, so actually I forgot I need to add a background. So I'm just going to add a white background here. And let's go ahead and add a background color on hover. And I'm kind of anticipating what the color of my category tab is going to be. Right now, I know it's going to be like a green, so I'm just going to add that to my hover options now. Sorry, on hover. Let's go ahead and add that new background color. There you go. And now let's jump over to the design tab. Let's go to my text options. think I'm going to keep it. Let's see. Go back to content. Right now my hover tab is selected. Sometimes if you leave those hover tabs open, the hover state will stay there. So you got to make sure and toggle out of that. All right, so the title font, let's go ahead and update that a bit. Let's go make that a bold or a semi-bold. Let's make it uppercase. Increase the size a bit. Let's add some letter spacing. Let's do 1 pixel. And let's do a line height of 1.4 ems. And a body text color, let's go ahead and change that to, let's do, okay, so the body text is going to be what shows up, what targets the excerpt in this blog card here. So I'm just going to make it white initially. And the reason why I'm doing that is because even though I can't see it on the initial state, because remember the excerpt is going to show up on hover, I do want to give it a white color because I want to change that color. I'm sorry, I want that color to be white whenever you hover over the blog card or blog module. So and since the background is going to be green for this one, it needs to be a white color. All right. Let's do the font, meta font weight. Let's just do a light, make it nice and light, and let's give it some letter spacing here of 3. Nice contrast in typography there. All right, so now I'm gonna go to my height options. There's a whole lot of options that we have on this blog module, as you can see here. But I'm gonna go to do the sizing here. And I'm gonna give it a min height. And I wanna give it a min height because really I want all of those blog cards to be the same height. And so I'm gonna give it a minimum height of 450 pixels on desktop. So that's gonna make sure that it's going to be, have the same height. They won't adjust with each module. And then the padding, let's go ahead and do padding here. Let's do 5% top and bottom. And then for the left, let's do 5% as well. And let's go ahead and add a nice box shadow there. And let's go ahead and add an animation. Let's just go ahead and add a zoom animation as well, so you can see initially on page load or whenever you scroll down to this layout on your page, it will, have a nice zoom in effect. All right, I think that's good for our first blog card. Things will speed up once I get to start copying these into the other columns, but I'm just gonna check my questions here, make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. All right, so welcome everyone. Still saying hi, I see. Abner, Felipe, Ray, Peter, welcome. Henrik. All right. Looks like everybody's just content with listening. So I'll just go ahead and keep going along. I do have a quick question here from Sayad, I believe is how you pronounce it. He's getting an error. If you could help me when I'm importing some layout in Divi library. So I'm getting this error, this file should not be imported in this context. Okay, this is a common problem. So it would depend on what you're trying to import. If it's a let's say if it's a layout um, if it's a Divi layout, you can either upload it directly to the actual page with the Divi Builder using the portability options of the Divi Builder on the front end. You can do it that way. That's But if that doesn't work, you'll have to import it directly into the Divi library first. So one of those should work, depending on how the JSON file was exported for you. If it's from a tutorial, if it's from one of my tutorials online, let's say it's for a layout design, all you have to do is basically drag it into, when you have the Divi Builder open like this, you can just drag in the JSON file directly and just import it. But if it's, a layout from like one of our Cyber Monday deals, like, or something like that, you'll need to, import it directly to the Divi Builder the Divi library first, and then you can access it from the Divi Builder that way. Hope that answers the question. Oh yeah, you did say it was a header. So yeah, that would be probably one of the either a header for the template. If that's a template, then you're going to need to use the Divi Builder settings, but portability options. All right, I'm going to stop there because I know this, but that should get you to where you're needing to go. Sorry for the confusion there, but that's a good question. Which will be helpful whenever you wanting to download this layout here that we're building now. It's actually available on the blog post that went out today on our blog, elegantthemes.com/blog, and you'll see the most recent Divi post there will have this download in it, and you'll need to basically just drag it into a Divi page with the Divi Builder activated. All right. Let's continue on. So just to recap, right now we are building a recent post by category layout with Divi, and we have successfully added a blog module that is featuring the most recent news category article. And now we need to add a little custom category tab that we're going to put right above it. So let's go ahead and do that. To do that, we're going to use a text module. So I'm going to go ahead and add a text module here. And I don't really need all this text here. All I need is the name of the category. In this case, it's going to be news. So, and then I'm going to actually save it for now, and then I'm going to drag it above the blog module there. And I'm going to open it up again, the text module settings. That's going to hold my category tab here. And then I'm going to add my background color. And it's going to be that same green that we're using for the hover state of the blog module there for this specific category. And let's go ahead and go to our design tab. Let's change the text font weight to bold or semi-bold. Actually, let's do ultra bold. And let's do the text color to white. And let's make our alignment centered. There it is. And the width, I'm going to give it a set width. So I'm going to go to my sizing options here. And I'm going to give it a set width of 120 pixels. That way, it leaves enough room for, the name of a specific category. If you have longer category name, you'll need to adjust that. But just trying to keep them all kind of the same width so it looks nice. And then the margin, let's do under spacing. Let's give it a custom margin of, we're going to do 80 pixels on the top. And then I'm going to do negative 80 pixels. Oh, that's right. I got that wrong. So the top, is 80 pixels. and then the bottom is negative 80 pixels. All right, so what that does is it brings it down to sit right over the blog module there. And we can't really see it. We can only see the text. And that's because of the z-index needs to be updated. It's kind of ordered behind the blog by default. So let's go ahead and fix the padding. Oops. All right, so let's fix our padding. Let's do 10 pixels on the top and bottom. So I'll just link them together there. And let's go ahead and, actually I want to set my visibility in z-index here to 1. And that's going to make it sit right above that other module there. Now I can add an animation. Let's go to my design tab and let's do a fade in. And we're going to kind of delay that fade in a bit, just so, because if you remember, we already have a zoom effect on our blog module. So we want to delay it just right after that zoom is finished. So in this case, it's going to be basically 1 second or 1,000 milliseconds. So let's just add that to our animation delay. All right. And we're done with the category card. Let's go ahead and publish the page. And let's just real quick check on the what that looks like on the live page. So as you can see there, it pops up, and when I hover, you can see that the oh, it looks like I need to update my color of my text on hover. So everything else looks good. So basically what I'll need to do is go over to my text settings, and you can see my text color is set to dark by default. Well, I can just, go to hover and change that to light. And that'll take care of that. Let's go ahead and refresh. It should be good to go now. There we go. All right, so now to make things a little easier, we're going to copy and paste this setup, these two modules, into each one of these remaining columns. And to do that, I like to go over to my wireframe view mode and use the multi-select. So I'm going to select both of these. And I'm going to copy modules. And let's just paste them in here to each column. All right, so these are now all identical blog modules pulling in the most recent news category posts. So I'll need to update that, and I'll also need to update the text modules, which represent the category tab that we built. So let's do the one in column 2 here. Let's go ahead and update the blog so you can see. Let's go ahead and update this. Let's change it to business, so the most recent business category. And then on hover, let's go to our background. On hover, we're going to replace that green color with a red color here. Maybe more like a tomato type color. And then let's go ahead and save that. That's really simple. Let's go up to our text module to update our category tab. Right now it says news. So remember, we set it to business. So let's go ahead and change that text content to business and update our background color to match the red. And then let's save that out. Do the same for the blog module and text module in column 3. Let's open our blog module. Let's change our category to money. And let's update the hover background color to a purple. go to my background, go to hover, change this green to purple, or whatever color you want for your own design. I'm going to save that out. Go to my text module, change the news to money. Change the background to that matching purple color. And let's go ahead and do, excuse me, the fourth column modules. Let's change this blog module to include coaching category. And let's update the background color to like an orange. All right. And let's go ahead and save that. Let's go to our text module. Change the news to coaching. Change the background to match. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and toggle the desktop view mode to see what it looks like. Okay, looking good so far. All right. Let's go ahead and change the row settings now. And I'm going to open my row settings. And make sure you can see it. Bring it over here. And I'm going to give it a custom gutter width. So I'm going to set it to 2. So that decreases the margins between each of those modules. And basically gutter width is the margin in between columns. So, and then I'm going to set the width to 94%. And the reason why I'm not setting it to a complete 100 is because on mobile, I do want it to have a little bit of space on each side. So I'm just setting it to 94. That'll give me about 3% margin on each side on mobile. And then let's go ahead and set the max width to 1400 pixels. That'll give me more room on larger desktops, but you know, still kind of keeping things a little bit more compact. And then let's give it a height. So let's do, the reason why I'm giving it a set height here, and you might need to play around with the height for your own design, depending on how you have designed these cards. And I'm giving if you remember each of the blog modules a height of I believe 450 pixels, and I'm giving the row a height of 540 pixels, which will allow me to have some padding above and below, but also it will keep things from moving around on the page. Because if you remember, I added a hover effect to each one of these blog modules. So if I give it a set height to the row, it'll keep that row from expanding, because the row will by default expand if your content expands. So by giving it a height that is set or fixed, it won't do that. But I do want to make sure and set the tablet display to auto on tablet. So make sure, really all it takes is to click on the tab just to make sure, and auto will automatically be filled by default. But it is you need to make sure and click on the tab. All right, let's go back. Let's take out the padding above and below. Just to do that, I'm just going to set it to 0. All right. Now, the last thing, I think it's the last thing. Let's go ahead and check out what we have so far. It might help to save it first. Okay. All right, so let's save out our page and refresh. All right, so there's our design. All right, so it's looking like I have a really long title here that's kind of messing me up for having them all the same height. So if that's the case, you might need to increase the min height of your blog posts. Right now it's set to 450, which really isn't enough for this really long title. So you can do one of two things. You can shrink up the size of your blog module title so it doesn't take up too much vertical space. And that's basically what I'll do. Let me just update this one just because it's one of those things that will bother me if I don't fix it. Let's go ahead to text, or the title text here, and you'll see that it's set to 24 pixels. I'm just going to cut that down. Let's just do 22, probably will work. And then I'm just going to extend that title text size to all of the blogs on this page at once. All right, so let's go ahead and check and see if that fixed it, because I want them all to be the same height. And there you go. All right, so now, and you can see on hover, they will show the excerpts. So that's nice. But I do want to add one more hover effect. And to do that, I'm going to add it to the column. And the reason why I'm going to add the hover effect to the column is because I want it applied to not only the blog module in each column, but also the text module that is that we use to create our category tag. So both of these I want to add the hover effect to simultaneously. In order to do that, I just need to go to that parent element, which is the column, to add that hover effect. So to do that, I'm going to go to the row, and you can see my 4 columns here. I'm going to update the first column settings, and I'm going to give it a transform hover effect. So this is under my transform options. What I want to do is basically scale it up 15%. So I'm going to add 115% on, oh wait, I just want it on hover, so I need to make sure and select my hover tab there. And then I'm going to change my transform scale to 115%, both on the Y and X axis. And as you can see, it enlarges on hover, and it will enlarge the blog module and the category tag as well. All right. And because on mobile, on tablet, I don't want really anything expanding or anything when I click on it. I can just go to my custom CSS and go to my main element. And if you don't know this already, you have responsive tabs for the custom CSS elements here. And just for the main element, that's going to target the column itself. I'm going to, under my tablet display, I'm going to just put in this transform none important. Basically, that's going to override any transform options I have in Divi, and make sure to disable those on tablet and phone. It will inherit it on phone as well. But if not, you'll definitely want to make sure and copy it over to the phone. It looks like it will, so you're good. All right, so I'm going to go back to desktop, save it out, and I want to do the same thing for each of my columns. So I'm going to go transform on hover. Let's go ahead and increase it to 15%. And then for my custom CSS, for the main element on tablet only, let's go ahead and add the transform none. I want to do that 2 more times. Oops. So hover. Okay, and one more. Let's go ahead and add the transform option or hover effect to the fourth column here. And disable it on tablet. Okay. All right, looking good so far. And last thing is basically a design aspect. I'm just going to go to my section settings, and let's go ahead and add a background gradient. So I'm just going to go to my section here, add a background gradient. Let's go ahead and do the left color, this purple, and then the right color, this red, the same red we used in our category, the business category, if I remember right. And then let's change the gradient direction to 270 degrees. All right, and let's update the padding. Let's do 10 VW, which is basically 10% of the viewport width. So on the top and the bottom, gives me some nice padding and spacing there. All right. Now I'm going to stop here, but you can, of course, go ahead and add a title above it, like, from our blog or recent posts or something like that to kind of complete the design. But everything's here. Let's go ahead and check the final result. So there's my initial animation, and then I have my hover effects in place, nice and large, or scale, and then the change of color, and then also the showing of the excerpt. And this is dynamically pulling in the recent posts by category. All right, let's jump in and let's view the questions before I close out today. All right, so I have I believe is a request or suggestion to please add template for headers and menu, and fix transparent menu with revolution slider. Okay, well, I appreciate the suggestion there. We'll try to get some more templates for headers and menus. I know we have some more tutorials in the works that will allow you to do some cool stuff with headers and stuff like that. So be looking forward to that. Excellent. Any last questions before we end today's live stream? I think we're good. Once again, let's just do that final result here. All right. All right, that's all I got for you this week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Please be sure to subscribe to our blog. Let me start over. Please be sure to subscribe to our blog newsletter, our YouTube channel, and like us on Facebook. That way you don't miss out on any future freebies we'll be throwing your way. And also any live streams that we'll be doing. Our next one should be done on Tuesday next week, so be looking forward to that. And our next live stream will be this Friday with the WP Roundup, so be looking forward to that at 3 p.m. Eastern on Friday. And you can also check the video description for more information on how you can contribute your own expertise to our Elegant Themes blog. So check that out. And if you don't have Divi yet, please take advantage of our 25% off memberships Cyber Monday deal. Check the link in the video description as well for that. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.